Steel is hugely important to any economy. It's strategically important material, and it is essential that any country has control over designing and manufacturing steel. We use it in every aspect of our lives.
In steels globally, it's most efficient to mix iron from the blast furnace with scrap, and that results in the least emissions. But in the regional and local context of the UK and Europe, we recycle more scrap. We have more coming out of buildings we take down and cars that we retire and everything else than we actually make primary iron. So for us, in our local context, it may be more efficient to melt that in what are called electric arc furnaces using electricity than to put it into a blast furnace with some new primary iron. Or it might be that we export the scrap and it gets melted in China, or it might be in Port Talbot. And where we're going to land on that as a society, we don't quite yet know. But for the UK high-value steel supply chain and for automotive, it's really important to have a local producer, so you have a short supply chain and you can innovate with, and you can be agile and lean, and all of those good things, rather than having a very long global supply chain.
We're all familiar with the automotive industry. We go out and buy a car. We know now that the performance is better if you buy a car now than compared to 10 years ago. It's faster, more fuel efficient, it's safer, all of these things. And a lot of that has been due to inventing new materials for cars. So if I asked you how much of that steel in the car was invented in the last 10 years, a lot of people would say, well, very little. Steel has been around a long time. We don't invent new steels. But in fact, we've invented 60% of new steels for the car in the last 10 years. And we have to do the same in the coming 10 years. So the strength of steel in a car has just about doubled in that time. And it's done that with reduced cost and with reduced reliance on strategic minerals. And so the challenge is really to do that again, because the emissions have to be reduced even further.
In Dare, we're collaborating across the steel value chain with end users like Rolls-Royce and Volkswagen, to steel makers like Tata in the UK and in the Netherlands. And that's right across Europe. Right? It's a very European, integrated, multinational supply chain.
Steel is actually one of the most resource-efficient materials that we have around. About 90% of steel is recycled, so it really is a very resource-efficient material. The other thing about steel is it's very cheap. It is incredibly cheap. We know there are problems at the moment because the world steel price has collapsed, and that is because there is a world overproduction in steel. That is an international problem. It's not just for the UK, it's clearly an international problem. Strategically for the UK, we must have a vibrant and well-resourced steel industry, because it is already a very efficient industry that we use.
The practices we develop in Dare won't just reduce emissions in the UK, they'll reduce emissions right across the rest of the supply chain and spread across the world.
There's no other material on this planet where we have developed its properties so quickly and so dramatically. So steel really is a solution to the resource efficiency problem.